मातृदेवो भव, पितृदेवो भव, आचार्यदेवो भव, अतिथिदेवो भव. As always, welcome to KPs Storytime. So, we changed the time from Tuesday to Wednesday, and also, as there are some requests, we may be increasing the period, so from 1 hour to 1.5 an hour, and if possible, we'll go to 2 hours. But again, I don't want it to be overwhelmed. People should not be overwhelmed, and then 2 hours may be too long a period. So let us know your feedback. If 1 hour was good enough, 1.5 an hour is good, or you're okay with 2 hour session. Either way, it's fine with us. Basically, we always start with praying mother, father, and the guru. Almost all gurus that have contributed to my prosperity here, and who contributed to my knowledge. Then finally, Atiti Devo Bhava. So without you, I may be saying anything, but if there is no listener, what is the point of doing, right? So that's why, again, Atithi means the guests, and guests are also treated as gods. So you're all my God. So please be here and make it successful. We have started this program to review Rama's biography, which is called Ramayana. This is just a recap. So Rama was the best behaving human being in the entire universe for any ages that we have known about. He has all the good qualities, the 16 good qualities, and he proved that as a human being, how you can get all those qualities and live with those qualities. So no one can complain that only God can live like that, not a human being. He had 3 more brothers, total 4: Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Satrughna. His father's name is Dasaratha, mother's name Kausalya. Dasaratha had 3 wives, Kausalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi. Rama was the son of Kausalya. Lakshmana and Satrughna were sons of Sumitra, and then Bharata was son of Kaikeyi. All the 4 brothers were very close to one another. Dasaratha loved Rama so much he could not get him away from his sight. But one day, Vishwamitra came to their court. Vishwamitra is a very powerful sage, Brahmarshi we call him. So he asked Rama to be accompanying him so that Rama can take care of the yajna, which is sacred prayer from Rakshasas, who are the evil beings. With a lot of persuasion from Vasishta, Dasaratha allows Rama to go with Vishwamitra. So Vishwamitra and Rama is always accompanied by Lakshmana. So both of them went with Vishwamitra. As Vishwamitra was taking them, he was giving them all the stories, various stories. And with those stories, he was building the character of Rama. That's how we have seen a lot of stories. He killed Tataka and Subahu, who were troubling his yajna, Yagnya, yajna, which is the sacred prayer. And he had used a weapon so that the third one, Maricha, was thrown away some hundreds of miles from where the prayer was happening. So that's how he made sure that the yajna was completed. Vishwamitra was very happy, and all his other rishis there were also very happy. They blessed Rama. Vishwamitra has blessed Rama with so many weapons, powerful weapons, and also one weapon which takes care of his hunger. So he would never be hungry and he would not need sleep also. So those are the Bala Atibala. Both of them he gave, and lot of other powerful weapons also he gave to Rama. And as I said, they're all in software version. They're not the physical one, if you may understand, right? So Rama was given the software of all those weapons, and Rama also gave the same knowledge to Lakshmana with the help, with the blessings of Viswamitra. After the yajna was completed, Viswamitra told all his people there that now my work is done here. I'm going from here to a different place. I will take Rama and Lakshmana to Mithila. That is a place where Janaka was performing another sacred yajna, and Viswamitra wanted to be there with Rama and Lakshmana, make it successful. And Viswamitra wanted to go to Himavan. Himavan is again Himalayas, that's north of India, border of India on the north side between China, Pakistan, and India. So he wanted to go there. All three of them started traveling towards Mithila, and then by the evening, they approached Ganga. In English world, we call it as Ganges, river Ganges. In India or in Hinduism, river Ganges is supposed to be the most sacred river. It's always very pure, and whoever dips in that Ganga or whoever Ganga touches will be totally purified. Rama was very excited seeing that. So he asked him, can you tell me more about this Ganga? Why she is so sacred? What is the importance of that in our mythology? So Vishwamitra always, as any good guru, is always excited to give the information that he had. All he needed was one enthusiastic student who asked him various questions. Vishwamitra said, okay, let's sit. I'll talk about Ganga. Then he started. Remember, he wanted to go to Himavan, right? After Rama and Lakshmana go back to Ayodhya. So that Himavan is a mountain, greatest mountain, and that mountain had two daughters. One called Ganga, the other one called Parvati. Ganga was, so the Devatas, they wanted to have a gift from this Himavanta. They asked them, give us one daughter. Then Himavanta said, fine, you take Ganges. Ganges took the form of a river and flowed into heaven. Devatas are the residents of heaven. And then it is also called as Mandakini, Mandakini. Not only we have different names, rivers also have different names. So Mandakini is the river Ganges flowing in heaven. And because of its sacredness, anything that it touches was getting purified. So that's where he said, that's one portion of the story. On the other side, in the lineage of Rama, there was one king called Sagara. Sagara was a great king, but he had two wives, but he did not have kids. Most of this mythology goes around king not having kids, and so the king prays, he performs some yajna, the sacred one, and that's when the gods come and give the kids to them. Similarly, here also he performed a yajna. God came. God said, you have two wives. One wife will be blessed with one kid who will make your entire lineage very proud. The second wife, I mean, the second wife will have 60,000 very powerful sons. God blessed him and they went off. Here, king asked both of the wives came and then said, okay, who will have one son and who will have 60,000 sons? For king, both of them are equal. How can he make a decision? You will have one and you will have 60,000. So he asked them, you choose who want to have what. You discuss between yourselves and come to a perfect decision, and then let me know. Accordingly, you will have them. Always, when two people are competing for something and you are the giver or you are the decision maker, it's better always ask them. Make them understand what their choices are, and then let them decide all the pros and cons. If they are not able to make any decision, you give them the pros and cons of each one of them and let them make an educated decision. Never ever make the decision on your own, because any decision is 50% right, 50% wrong. And when it is 100% right, the other side it goes, everyone will say you are right. But if it goes to the wrong side, people start blaming you. It's easy to blame anyone, but taking the responsibility of a issue is the most wanted one. That's how we improve our character. So in your life, anytime you are in a position to give to someone and there are more than one person competing for that, always give that option to them. And give that option in such a way that they can make a decision. So here also, king asked, you come up with that. Then they both went back, they talked about it, and the second wife said, I want to have this kids. And the first one said, fine, I will have the one who can make this lineage very very popular. So the first wife was who had one son whose called is Asamanja. The second wife had 60,000 sons. Now here is a light twist. This Asamanja, if you read Ramayana, Asamanja behaves very cruel. He is very cruel. As he was growing, he was showing his cruelty towards his friends, all the kids. As he was growing even bigger, when he has got his younger, adolescence, and then he has become, say, teenager, he was taking all his friends, drowning them in the river or in sea. Everyone was complaining. Oh king, how come you have such a son? King was also puzzled. The son is supposed to make my lineage so popular, but how come this guy has become like that? He could not understand it, and the cruelty has become so much. Has happened. Oh, okay. Suddenly I saw the flags. So king has nothing else to do. What he did was, fine, this guy is sent out of his country. They said, you are no more my son, get out of this place. You are getting bad name for this country and this kingdom. He had another son. The Asamanja had a son called Anshuman. That is his grandchild. Asamanja was sent out. Now 60,000 sons are there. When he was said that you are no more in the kingdom and you will not have any more responsibilities, get out of this place, That's when he goes back to the river. He gets all those kids whom he drowned, and brings them back. The reason is he never wanted to be in this world. He wanted to be a big sage. He wanted to do the tapasya, which means extended meditation. He never wanted to be tied up with worldly things. And because he is the eldest son, he would be the king. And he did not want that responsibility. How can he do that? He just did all these wild acts. So he was punished to get out of that place. Then he brought back all those kids and then said, okay, here are your kids. I've not done anything back to them. So when you know, here the king knows that this kid is supposed to get good name for his lineage. God has said that. But this guy is behaving like this. He should have thought more into it and then say, why is this guy doing this? Similarly, if you know in your life a good person, but on a particular day he did something you think is wrong, then it is better you go back to that person and then say, you did this one, but in my understanding, again, never ever blame the person. Always say, in my understanding, this is not. Can you give me the knowledge? When you have done it, must be something right, but somehow I'm not understanding. That's when that guru will give you the background, why he has done something like that. But this king has not done, and whatever Asamanja wanted, he got it. So he left that. But his son, Anshuman, was left with Sagara. At that point of time, Sagara wanted to perform Ashwamedha Yagam. This is what we talked about in the first episode. Ashwamedha Yagam is where they perform a sacred prayer and they leave a horse to go anywhere it can travel, and it is protected by the army of the king who has sent it out. Within 1 year, that horse has to go. It can travel at its own pace by whims and fancies. But at the end of the year, it has to come back to the place where it started. And we also talked about it, right? We also do Ashwamedha every day, which means that that horse is nothing but your mind. Your mind wanders so many ways. Your mind wants so many things. The way to control it is not to control it literally. Instead, let it wander. Let it think whatever it wants. But you say, you know what? This thought is not the right. This is the right thought. This thought is going to add value to my soul. This thought is taking away value from my soul. So that one. This is just like a kid. If you don't want a kid to do something, and if you say no, you don't do it, he is bent upon doing that. Similarly, your mind also, if you say you have to do this, mind will never do that. If you say you don't do this, it will do that. So don't say anytime don't do it. Just say, okay, you do whatever you want. That's how you can control your mind back into the right direction. While you are saying this thought is not right, this thought is good, that's how you are conditioning your mind to think about only the good. Just one measure, any thought, look at it and then say, is it adding value to my positive value to my soul, or is it adding negative value to my soul? If it is negative, it's not mine. Get out. If it is positive, keep it. That's how you will keep all positive thoughts with you. Similarly, the horse was wandering everywhere. In our brain wanders everywhere. That's why I say we do Aswamedha Yaga every day, and our thoughts have to come back to where they started. Is it not? They cannot just go on wandering everywhere. They have to come back. That's why we are not restricting any thoughts. We're saying Think about whatever you want, but come back. And you have to put that limit of within which period your thoughts have to come back. Similarly, here also the Ashwamedha, it said that horse has to come back to the place where it started within 12 months. As the horse was going, Indra, as always, he was not happy with what this king is doing. He was not he was not happy with the popularity this king is having, the way he is performing this Ashwamedha, because he does not want him to become equal to him. So he stole that horse. He made it disappear. He took that horse and went away. Anshuman could not find. Anshuman was guarding the horse. He could not find the horse. He came back to Sagara and said, "Grandfather, I can't find it." Then Sagara said, "Something is wrong with this." He calls his 60,000 sons and says, "Go, find that. I need that here." The sages who were performing the prayer said, "Unless the horse comes back, we cannot do anything further." The culmination of this prayer will be only after the horse comes back. Again, if you think about your mind as the horse, unless your brain comes back to where it started, that means it has looked at all the thoughts, it has looked at them, which one is good, which one is bad, and then it has to come back to this starting point. That's when you are able to make decisions. Now, Sagara is worried that this horse is not available. He asked his 60,000 sons to go dig the earth, wherever, just go in the sky, find it out somehow. It cannot disappear from this earth. They went, they dug earth everywhere. They could not find it. They even dug so deep that they went beyond earth to the next loka. Next loka is another place. As we talked in the initial episodes, there are multiple layers. Heaven is there, then earth, and below that is Patala. They went to Patala, and there they heard the horse. They went into a cave. Horse was tied there, and there was a sage sitting like this and meditating. First of all, they should have been happy that the horse is available there, right? But they saw horse and immediately they said, "Here is the thief. This guy got our horse, tied it here, and pretending that he's doing a meditation." And they wanted to punish him. It was actually a very powerful sage called Kapila. He heard all these noises, his meditation was broke. Immediately, he opened his eyes with anger. You must have had this experience. If you sleep for 6 hours a day, or say 8 hours a day, and on a particular day you slept for 12 hours, when you get up, your eyes are red, swollen. Anyone can notice that you either had a lot of sleep or you did not have enough. In either case, the eyes become red. And the Kapila Maharshi was doing his meditation for so long. When he opened his eyes with anger, there was so much of power in his eyes that all these 60,000 Sagara sons turned into ashes. What do we need to learn from this one? We always assume things. It's so natural for people to assume things. If you may pardon me saying this word, if you write the word first three letters, a space, fourth letter, space, and two letters later, it becomes ASS space U space ME. Assume means making ass out of you and me. This I thought we have discussed in the previous ones also, but I want to reiterate because it is so powerful and so bad also, assuming things. Never assume. You do not know what is going on the other side. Why do you want to assume? Always try to get the fact. So there they assumed that this guy, this sage, has stolen their horse. 1 second, if they have thought, why would he steal the horse? Even if he has stolen the horse, why would he be tying it here and then meditating instead of guarding it? That common sense was not there because they were so angry. Which brings us the point that when you are angry, your common sense goes away. Your thinking power goes away. So you will be doing, we will be doing all foolish things. That's what happened here. They all turned into ashes. Sagara could not make out what was going on. He waited there. Then he called Anshuman and said, go, what happened to your uncles? Fine. Anshuman went through the traces left by his uncles. Finally, he went into the cave where Kapila Maharshi was in meditation. Now see the difference between the characters. That Anshuman stayed there calmly, praying that person, and waiting for that person to wake up from the meditation. When you are going to someone, whoever it is, when the person is sleeping or when the person is meditating, do not disturb. In my childhood, I remember we were living only in a one-bedroom kitchen house. And when my father was sleeping in the bedroom, my mother used to say, Dad is sleeping, don't make any noise, stay away, go out and play. Because he's head of the family. And then he's sleeping means he's resting. He has worked so much, he's resting. If you disturb him, first of all, that's not a good thing for his health. Secondly, he cannot perform his other duties going on later. Right? That's the importance given. Nowadays, we don't care that. I've seen it in India, here, anywhere. We do not give that respect to the head of the family. They say, okay, yeah, anyone. Not only mother, father, not only father, it's mother, father, whoever is the head of the family, whoever is the breadwinner in the family, or whoever is tired to bring this family up. Even beyond that, if someone is sleeping, means that person is very tired. Do not disturb them. Do not disturb that person. Or if at all you want to wake that person up, just go give some time. Tap. It is also said that when a person is sleeping, it's half dead. Why? Because the soul has gone out of that body and it's wandering on its own. When it comes back into the body, the person will wake up again. The difference between sleep and death is the soul went out with intention to come back after some time and it returns to the body, that is sleep. The soul leaves the body, goes out and never comes back, that is death. So now you can say sleep is like death. It's a temporary death. You have to give time for the soul to come back to the body. You just go on waking up a person like this, there is not enough time for the soul to come back to the body. And that's why you might notice the guy gets up, what? Because that soul is not ready to get into the body and to react to the environment there. But if you say, if sometime, dad, then he'll slowly open the eyes, or she will open the eyes slowly, because you have given enough time for the roaming soul to come back to the body and get accustomed to the environment again, and get up. Similarly, here also, he was waiting for Kapila Maharshi to complete his meditation. So when Kapila opened his eyes, now there was no anger in his eyes, right? So he was very happy. He just opened his eyes, saw that Anshuman who was folding his hands and standing there. He could make out who he was. So he said, okay, here is the horse. Indra, God, the leader of Devatas, he got that horse and tied it here. You can take this horse. 60,000 could have done that, right? But no, that's their fate. That's the result of assuming things and getting anger and not able to think properly, losing the common sense. They all turned into ashes. In Hinduism, we leave tarpana, that is, we leave water to our ancestors who died. And that we do every year. Here also, Anshuman wanted to do that. He was looking for water around. Then Kapila said, because of the sin these guys have performed, the regular water is not enough. Only the water of Ganga, the Ganges, from heaven has to be brought here, and only that Ganga can purify these guys. Until then, they are not going anywhere. Their souls are just roaming here. So Anshuman gets the horse back to Sagara. Sagara completed his Ashwamedha Yaga, but he was not happy with what happened to his son. And Anshuman, so he says, I'm done with this, I'm going Vanaprastha. That means he was retiring. He made Anshuman the king. He left the place. Why they were going into forest? He was a king, he retired, he could have stayed there, and then Anshuman could rule the country, and he could have been in the palace. This is another great thing Hinduism preaches us. Once, let's say I am head of the family currently, and when I want to retire and make Prakash as head of the family, I may confer it on him, but if I am in the vicinity, I still will have the control on him. Or he will be looking at me, saying that, what do I do now? Even if he's 80 and I'm 100, he'll come back to me. He will never grow beyond that. So, Hinduism says, once you are conferring your head of the family to someone else, get away from that place. Get to a normal, very normal life, go into something like a forest, and then lead life with other rishis, pray God, and change your entire world. Now you may see which path I am taking, right? Why I am having this prayer room and all of things. So this is still my path on that. Not yet retired though, but as head of the family. So Sagara left. Anshuman was there. Anshuman was always thinking about how do I get Ganges to earth, but he was busy with his own kingdom responsibilities. He could not do anything. He had son Dilipa. So Anshuman said, now I want to get Ganges. I'll go and do my tapasya to get Ganges here. You take over the kingdom. He went, but Anshuman was not successful. He died. Dilipa had his son called Bhagiratha. Dilipa again gave the kingdom to Bhagiratha. He said, I want to go and get Ganges. He went there, he did his prayers, tapasya, but he also died. That's when Bhagiratha said, I have to get Ganges down. So he gave his responsibilities to his ministers and he went started doing tapasya for Brahma. Remember, we have three major gods: Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. Brahma is the creator. So he went ahead and did tapasya for Brahma. After so long of tapasya, Brahma came down, appeared before him, and said, "I'm very happy with with your prayers. What do you want?" Then Bhagirath said, "I want Ganges to flow from heaven to the earth. Can you give me that boon?" Brahma said, "I'm very happy to do that. The only problem is Ganga is so powerful. Her flow is very powerful. When it is descending from heaven to earth, earth cannot take that force. Remember, if you have huge waterfall, there is always, it eats away the earth below that. If Ganges is coming from heaven, which is very high, and that is hitting earth, earth cannot take that. It will just flow through the earth to Patala. So you find a Patala is the third place, right? We said heaven, earth, and Patala, which is below earth. So he said, Brahma said, the Ganges, which is called Mandakini in heaven, can flow, but that force of the flow, earth cannot take it. It will just pass through earth into Patala. So go ahead. You have to find someone who can stop it and reduce the power of Ganga. Now he said, okay, what do I do now? Then Brahma said, go do tapasya for Maheshwara. Vishnu, Brahma, Maheshwara. Maheshwara is the third one. He's almost, when no one is able to help you, he's the God who will be helping. So Brahma advised Bhagiratha that you perform tapasya for Maheshwara. That's fine. Again, hundreds of years, he performs tapasya for Maheshwara. Finally, he appears. This is what you want. So Bhagiratha asked him, God, I want Ganges to come down, but can you stop her force and then leave her onto the earth? He said, yeah, we'll do that. So Ganga started flowing so powerfully, and she had that pride, right? She's sacred river. She can flow with great river, and she thought, Maheshwara, he cannot take me. He said he will control me, but I will see he cannot control me. She was coming with ultimate force. Shiva, Maheshwara is also called Shiva. So Shiva looked at that and said, okay, I will take care of your pride. He just held her in his hair. He never let her flow again. One way Ganga said, this guy cannot control me, whereas Shiva said, fine, I'll control you, I'll prove myself. He just held it in the air, he was not letting it go down. That's why anytime a person has pride, there is one more person, one more incident that happens to take away the pride. So don't ever have that pride that I'm great. No one can control me, or I'm greater than anyone else here. That's why never do that. And Ganga did that. And anytime anyone has that, there will be a circumstance that will prove that you're wrong. Bhagirath was waiting. Ganga was not flowing. Because that's a competition between Shiva and Ganga. Who is the loser? Bhagiratha. Again, he started praying for Shiva. Some more years. Finally, Shiva said, okay, what do you want? Swami, please leave that Ganga. Shiva said, fine. He started. He let the Ganga flow. And that Ganga was flowing again on the earth with such a vigor. It was going through another Rishi's residence, Jahnu. His name is Jahnu. It's Jahnu. He was very unhappy. He was very angry because that entire residence, the places and all, Ganga was just flowing through that. He just stopped it. He drank. Look at the power, right? Shiva could stop it, whereas Ganga said no one can stop. Shiva could stop it. And Jahnu, he did not like Ganga flowing that fast. He just drank that entire water. That means there was no water anymore. Bhagirath went ahead. He said, please, Ganga, follow me. He was going on his chariot. Suddenly, after some time, he saw, where is Ganga? He was worried. He came back. He learned that Jahnu has held Ganga. Again, he started praying Jahnu. Some more years have passed before Jahnu became kind enough towards Bhagiratha and said, okay, I'm going to leave Ganga. That's why Ganga is also called daughter of Jahnu, because Jahnu has let her out. And so her name is Jahnavi. Mandakini, Ganga, now her name is Jahnavi. Ganga started flowing towards the ashes, and finally those ashes were purified by Ganga, and they got rid of, the souls have gone out. Why is this story? What do we learn from the story? In our houses, in Hinduism, if anyone is doing something relentlessly, he wants to get success. He wants to succeed, or she wants to succeed. We say, oh, this guy is like Bhagiratha. Bhagiratha never gave up. Anshuman gave up. Dilipa gave up. But Bhagiratha never gave up with whatever hurdles were there. Okay, first hurdle, get the Ganga. So he prayed Brahma. And the second hurdle is, who will control her? He prayed Shiva. The third hurdle was the conflict between Shiva and Ganga. Again, he started praying. He never gave up that point. When Ganga started coming, Jahnu stopped it. He went back to Jahnu. He prayed him, got Ganga again. So hundreds of years passed through this. He never gave up. Only what we can do is, once you have to think many times before starting something. But once you start it, relentlessly work towards the success of it. Half-hearted efforts will never help. It's always go with full-fledged. I would like to give one example of one of my very, very good friends who has given me opportunity to do good things. Her name is Anuradha. When I was introduced to her somewhere in 2008, 2009, she had a vision. She was already helping poor and downtrodden people in one place called Gunturu in Andhra Pradesh. She was giving vocational education to the poor. She was distributing uniform to the poor school kids. Lot of good things she was doing. And since then, she was saying, I want to have an orphanage. I want to have an old age home for those who are left alone. No one is taking care of them. They don't need to pay anything. Here we know old age homes are most expensive ones. And even in India, it has become business. But she said, I want to have an old age home and an orphanage which will be free for those people who have no other means to live. She worked on that. That was one. That's where I call, she is another Bhagiratha. She was always contacting people. I want to make it happen. I want to make it happen. I used to tell her, first think multiple times what can happen with them. They may be coming. Their kith and kin may come later, or they may fall sick. What happens when something happens to them? How are the medical facilities? Are you thinking that all of that is a major, major responsibility? Then she said, no, I know all of that, but I want to do it. When one person is thinking like that, makes such decisions, the world helps, God helps, all the people around. I would rather say it other way around. She was helping people to do good things. So if at all anyone is interested in donating for such a cause, definitely please contact us. We will give the information to you. And she is now hosting a good number of old people and the young ones. For one person to eat breakfast, tea, coffee, lunch, and dinner, it would cost around $400 per year. Imagine, it is $400 per year. One person will be eating all the meals and will be healthy in that location. So, as everyone helped Bhagirath, I want a lot of people to help this Bhagirath, who is known as Anuradha in Guntur, and make her project successful. Of course, it's already successful. They're doing very well. So that is what we have to learn in our life. Bhagirath is the one who never gave up. You also, before you give up any time in your life on anything, think about it. I've done so much now. What do I leave it? That's the story. That's the thing that we learn from Bhagirath. So Rama, Lakshmana, and Vishwamitra, they have taken a dip in that sacred Ganges river, and from there they started going towards Mithila. As they entered Mithila, I think we have touched this in the previous episode. Janaka was very happy and he welcomed Vishwamitra. He inquired about Rama and Lakshmana, and he knew that Rama and Lakshmana are the princes, I mean, princes of Ayodhya. Again, Dasharatha was a good friend of Janaka. So he said, oh, now I'm doing a yaga, as you know, please come over. That's where that bow of Shiva was worshipped. At that time, he said, I have a daughter of marriage age, and I have put a condition. Whoever can lift this bow and then stretch the string of it, I will get my daughter married to that person. That itself shows how powerful that Shiva, that is Shiva's bow, one of the three gods. And the God himself was so powerful, how heavy that bow will be. Lot of kings came, they tried, they could not do anything with it. Then Vishwamitra looked at Rama and then said, Rama, go try it. Rama never said, oh, let me go, I'll try it. He was waiting for his guru to give permission. When guru said, go try it, first he took the blessings of that guru. Always, always when you want to do something good, take the blessings of elder. Blessings are nothing but the wishes from a very happy heart, very happy soul. That's what the wish is, not from the mouth. It has to come from the heart of the person. So he said, Guru, please give me your blessings. So Vishwamitra said, Vijayostu, which means you will have the success. So Rama went there and he prayed that Shiva's bow also. Why is it that? Imagine, I mean, Here is a real situation. My dad used to wear one watch, and when he passed away, I took that watch. What is the worth of that value of that watch? It was on my dad's hand, on his wrist, for maybe 10 years, 15 years. So to me, that's my dad. That's the value of it. So I take care of that watch as if it was my dad. Similarly, here that bow belongs to Shiva, which means you have to treat it as Shiva. All other kings, they just went there, tried to lift it up. No, when you are arrogant, things will not happen. Here, though Rama is so powerful, he went, he bowed there, he prayed that and said, give me the strength so I can lift you. At that time, he lifted it. It was very easy for him because Bo also was cooperating with him. Then he stretched the string, and he stretched it so much that the bow broke. Janaka was just asking for someone to lift it and stretch the string, but Rama has proved to him that he can even break it. Everyone was very happy that Janaka got the son-in-law that he wanted. Now, why was the condition about the bow? Bow was always in prayer room of Janaka, and anyone to move, if any time he had to move it on the wheels itself, he needed to get at least 500 to 1,000 people, warriors, to push it. It was such a heavy bow. One day, Sita was playing, and then her ball went under that wheels, the cart. She just went there, pushed it out, took that ball, and went out. Janaka saw it. He said, this girl is so powerful. Who can match her? Person who can not just move it, the one person who can lift it and stretch it, only that person will be
equal to
will be equal to her, and he is the right person for her to get married. That's the reason why he had put in that condition. By the way, we have not touched on Sita's birth. Let's talk about it. Janaka also did not have kids. Don't ask me why it is always like that. So there again, sages told him to perform a sacred yajna, Y-A-G-N-Y-A, yajna. And as part of that, he was plowing land. When he was plowing the land, he got some obstruction. When they dug to take that obstruction out, there was a box, and in that box there was a baby. He adopted her, and because she was found there, she was named as Sita, and Sita. And because she is the daughter of Janaka, she is also called Janaki. Because she's the daughter of Mithila's king, she's called Maithili. So Sita was not born to Janaka, but she was found when he was performing yajna. Again, if we go back to those three main gods we have, Brahma's wife name is Saraswati, that is knowledge, goddess of knowledge. Vishnu's wife is called Lakshmi, goddess of wealth. Shiva's wife is called Annapurna Parvati Prosperity. She is the owner of prosperity. Lakshmi was born as Sita because it's always Vishnu has become Rama, Lakshmi has become Sita, and they are destined to get married. That's how this story happened. I mean, the marriage was performed. Marriage was to be performed. Janaka said, "Oh, Rama, you are the person I was looking for. Let's get married. Let's get you married to my daughter." Rama said, "Wait. As a kshatriya, as a princess, princess is female, right?
Princess is
Female, but both princes they were there, so we called it princess, right? So I'm a prince. It is my privilege. It is my responsibility to take any challenge. Here you are challenged. You have challenged people to lift this one, so I took the challenge. But I've not taken the challenge to marry Sita, or just because I broke that vow, you cannot just get us married. We need to involve my dad, Dasratha. You have to consult him. If he says okay, that's when we'll marry Sita. Get that.
Like Sita was already ready to marry.
Right,
Rama.
she's of marriage age.
No, I mean, like she liked Rama and wanted to marry Rama. Right? Like she had the.
No, she agreed. I mean, at that point, the condition was whoever will take the bow, right? So even if she liked Rama or not, but if Rama did not do it, Ravana did it, she had to marry Ravana. So
Because the reason I asked is because a lot of people might ask that. Well, isn't that a little like why isn't her opinion ever taken into consideration?
it's not the opinion not taken into consideration. It's always parents know in and out of the kids, their characteristics, and what kind of a person can live with them, with that kid. So in India, people might laugh at it, but arranged marriages are more successful because they have taken into consideration all the characteristics, how this boy was brought up, how this girl was brought up, can they have compatibility? And that's where the compatibility is proven over the years, not just by looking at each other for 1 hour or meeting people for some time and then all rosy picture is given. Always, right? When you are meeting a new person or when you are interested in a new person, you will be in that excellent, you'll pose your excellent behavior. But we do not know what happens with that character behind the scenes. Whereas here, they have seen that girl right from the childhood and they know the strengths and weaknesses of that girl, and they can come up with what kind of a boy will suit, what kind of weaknesses and strengths that boy should have. That's how these arranged marriages were performed. Similarly, here also, though they say Swayamvara, Swayamvara means selecting her own groom. Sita was selecting her own groom, but the condition was put by Janaka that whoever is going to lift this bow and stretch the string will be eligible to get married to Sita. And again, it is left to Sita whether she wants to marry this person. Let us suppose there are 3 people who have lifted that bow. She would have a choice to pick whom. Of course, here there was only one. But still, that's how Sita was ready to marry him. But Rama said, no, 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 no. I'm not the one who is making the decision. My dad knows with what type of a girl do I deserve. So first go and talk to my dad, Dasaratha. Look at the dharma everywhere he was following. Before even touching the bow, he took the permission from Vishwamitra. He took blessings from Vishwamitra. He went to the bow. He prayed that bow. He lifted it He fulfilled the condition, and then he said, I fulfilled the condition because I'm a prince, and as a prince, I take the challenge and I proved myself. But that does not mean that I'm going to marry Sita on my own decision. I want my dad to make the decision. Ask him. So that's when Janaka sends a message to Dashratha with great respect. Dashratha comes with all his wives and his parivara. Parivara means all his people. That at that point, Dasratha agreed. First of all, he was joyous that Rama gave him the decision-making power and the respect. Dasratha said, "Yeah, this is the girl for you." They got married. Here we have to talk about Parashurama. Parashurama is another Brahmin. He was born to a couple called Jamadagni Maharshi, another sage. Parashurama had other brothers also, but Parashurama also, like just like Rama, he was always following his dad's words. Parashurama, again, at that time, whoever was strong generally tend to do wrong because there is no one to challenge. So when he was there, when he was born and he was raised, the kings there have become so powerful. They were called Kshatriya. Kshatriya is the one who is eligible to be a king. That means they are very powerful. They are very strong. It so happens that one king had humiliated his mother. I just want to say that as a few that the story is different, but his mother went to get water from the river, and Jamadagni was performing his prayer. He was waiting for his wife. But when she went there, there was a king called Kartyavirya Arjuna. Let's not worry about the spellings or anything. So she saw him and just she got mesmerized. She delayed her return. Jamadagni got that. He looked at this one and he could make out that she got attracted to him. He was very angry. He asked his sons to behead her. Son said, no, we will not do that. When Parashurama came home, Jamadagni said, go, behead her. Parashurama did not think a second time. And then Jamadagni said, behead your brothers also because they have not heard. Listen to me. He went ahead and beheaded his mother, his brothers. Jamadagni was very happy because he has fulfilled his desire and said, okay, son, I will give you a boon. Go ahead, take anything that you want. Then Parshurama said, I want my wife, my mother, and my brothers to be alive. Please make them alive.
So, one thing I wanted. Oh, sorry. Did you finish the
No,
story?
not yet.
Okay. Sorry.
Right? So, Jamadag, Jamadagni had no other way. He said, fine. He made them alive. That means Parashurama has already thought about all of this scenario. I will do this, I will do what my dad asks, and my dad will be happy. He will give me a boon, and I'll get them alive again. If you hear only one portion of it, he beheaded them, your thinking about that character will be totally different. That's why no assumption. Never assume by looking at someone's act. You do not know the background. You do not know the thinking process of the person. Here also, Parashurama already thought about all of this entire scenario and beheaded them, again got them alive. Okay, go ahead. What was the question?
So the question was about the terms of arrangement. May I ask you that if this story, in terms of arranged marriages, still holds up as strong in your community slash culture in today's standards, or under today's eyes, especially when most of the time people do not have the whole story and what it. So I just wanted to mention on my side. So full clarity, my wife and I technically we got introduced through our parents. We basically had an arrangement, and the thing is, like a lot of people think that arranged marriage is just like, oh, parents introduce and say, okay, you two are the ones that are going to get married. This is our, this is our word. You have no choice in the matter. So I just wanted to clarify in the sense that,
You want to come this
yeah,
side?
okay. I just didn't want to lose focus.
I just wanted to say that a lot of the times it's just like a dating app in the sense that instead of you going on Tinder or something to find a potential person, your parents kind of help you look for someone. Especially they tend to kind of look in within the community that they know, friends, family, to be like, hey, my son or my daughter is of age. Do you know anybody who's also available? And they kind of just introduce. It's more of just a, hey, you guys should meet up and talk. Here's someone that I think you would get along with. And then you meet, you talk. If you get along, great. Then you go to the next step, and then you keep meeting until finally you both think you're compatible and you're ready to actually get married. At no point was I feeling forced, was my wife feeling forced. Any of my Indian friends who did go through this process, and all of them never felt forced either. So the idea of it is very much different in the Western culture to what it is now in India or any other place that still practices this. And then on top of that, love marriages are still very much a thing in India. I mean, you still have, yes, very closed-minded traditional families who are very much against it for very stupid reasons. But as long as they're happy, the couple are happy, and both sides respect each other and their respective families, most parents are fine with it. It's even my I still remember the first time I was old enough. My parents were like, "Hey, do you know any girls that you like?" I'm like, "No, no." And they're like, "Well, I mean, if you find a girl that you like, let us know. We'd love to meet her." So it was never a period of, "Hey, you have to pick, go with the girl that we picked." It was, "Hey, here's options. But if you don't like any of them, hopefully you'll find someone on your own wishes. But here we'll also help you out." Kind of. So I kind of just wanted to clarify that portion.
Yeah, nowadays, if you say any matrimonial application also, is it not an arranged marriage? That matrimonial site is arranging two people. It is taking the wishes of this person, the characteristics of this person, and matching with the characteristics of other person, and say, here is a good match between you. Go ahead, work together. That's what the parents are doing here. Whereas in the matrimony, whatever you are projecting yourself is taken as truth. Whereas here, parents have observed them for so long, and they have inquired about the other person, say my daughter-in-law. So I inquired about her from other people, and it was a known community, and we have observed her also. I told them what kind of a person we are looking, what kind of characteristics of that girl will match the characteristics of Prakash. Is that not what matrimony does? Matrimonial websites do?
Or dating.
Dating websites? They do the same thing. They're not going to get a 7-footer to a 3-footer, right?
Or like, no, more personality.
So, personality-wise also, they make sure that they're matching. And as I said, whatever characteristics were put in matrimonial dating services, they're all set by you. You never say that, oh, I get angry very easily. You don't put that there. You don't put your weaknesses in it. You always put your strengths. So that means we do not know the other side of the person from dating services. Whereas here, parents know other side of it also. So if I had a son who is very angry, I would definitely tell the bride's father that this guy he gets very angry very easily, but he's very good at his heart. This is what his strengths are. These are his weaknesses. If your daughter is also of an angry type, I don't think they will match each other. So if if I have the permission of Prakash, I want to give more on that story too, right? When we got that alliance about that girl, I called her parents and said, "We got to know that you have a daughter. We are looking for a daughter-in-law, and here is what my son does." And I know there are a lot of misconceptions in India about the kids who were born and brought up in US. Always they were thinking that these guys have no controls, they booze, they smoke, they they have girlfriends, all sorts of things. And so that was the bad impression they have. But at the same time, bride's parents do not ask those questions directly. So in the first call itself, I said, I will put myself in your shoes. If I had a daughter and I was in India, and if there is an alliance from an American family, what questions I would have? I will definitely ask these questions. What are the characteristics of your kid? Does he booze? Does he go? Does he have any girlfriends? All of that, right?
What's the government like? Is it like a womanizer or
womanizer? Yeah, to be frank, it's that way. Womanizer, not right. So I told them all of that. He has these characteristics, and I take pride in that. And then I said, I'm looking. The matching girl should have these kind of things. Then they said, yeah, my daughter has all of that. But the girl was surprised. She said, what? Why so early my marriage? Why are you guys thinking about my marriage yet? Then I only called her.
You and me, I wasn't.
Right, he was. So I called that girl and then said, fine, how long you want to wait? She said, not before 5 years. I mean, I want to wait for 5 years. I have to study, I do this. I said, that's okay. Because I believe that you are the right match for Prakash. You both talk. If you are okay and if you like each other, we will wait for 5 years. Because when you need something best, you have to wait. If I believe that you are the best person for him, we will wait for 5 years. At the same time, I gave her another thing also. Don't think that you are tied up so early. Right? If you want to buy a TV 5 years down the line, why would you reserve a TV model right now? You know there may be different models coming in the market. Why are you tying up with this model right now? Similarly, if you are tying up with Prakash, knowing that you will not get married for next 5 years, what if there is another guy who comes into your life, you think that he's the right person? So I told her, come to me first. You don't even tell your parents. If you find another person, another boy who is better than Prakash, and you convince me that he is better than Prakash, I will be there convincing your parents to get you married to that person. So here, that's what I can help with, because I truly believe that you are the best. You will be the best couple, and I truly believe you cannot find a better person than Prakash. She has both guarantees. If she waits for 5 years and she does not get another better boy, she can get married to Prakash. If she gets another person, better one, she can get that. That's how she said, okay, now I'm ready to talk with Prakash. And they started talking over a month or so. They exchanged all the views. Then they said, yes, it seems like we are a good match. That's how. Now you call it as an arranged marriage? Am I not the best marriage bureau there? Right? So that's how they got married. Similarly, here also between Sita and Rama, that was an arranged marriage by Dashratha and Janaka. Vishwamitra was the mediator who brought them together. At the same time, the conditions were fulfilled. That means his strength was shown. He proved himself. That's how they got married, right? That's why. So that was taken care of. Now, Parashurama got her mother back, her brothers back, everything is fine. But now he was outrageous about these Kshatriyas, the kings who are so powerful. So he went on killing them, 21 rounds. He went on killing all the bad kings. That's how it happened. Now, suddenly, and his guru was Shiva. Parashurama's guru was Shiva. So Parashurama was so angry that his guru's bow was broken. He came to this marriage function with such a rage. He said, "Who is that guy who took this Shiva's bow and broke it? I'm going to kill him. He's another Kshatriya. He's another king. I want to kill him." Dasratha went and prayed him. He said, "No, no, no. Please. He just got married. Please leave him. He's just a kid. He did not even know. He just lifted it. It was not his intention." He said, "No, I don't want to talk to you. And I heard his name is Rama. My name is Parashurama. There should be only one Rama in this world. There cannot be multiple." Again, look at the pride. My name, it should be owned by me only. I don't want any other person with that name. Then Rama said, "It's okay. Let me deal with him." He went, he again prayed him. He said, "I'm sorry, but it happened. It happened." Parashurama did not want to take it. Immediately he said, "Okay, here is the bow of Vishnu." Now, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Vishnu had his own bow. Shiva had his own bow. Vishnu's bow is even more powerful. So Parashurama got that one and they said, "Here it is. You hold this one. If you think you are really a great strong person, hold this one." Rama is Vishnu himself. That means he got his bow as Rama. He took that from Parashurama, and as he was taking it, he took the entire power from Parashurama. Parashurama has become just a timid person by that. Parashurama realized that Rama is Vishnu, so he prayed. He praised him. He says, "I'm sorry. Now, as I said, there should be only one Rama. That's why I'm going to Himalayas, and then I'll be performing my prayers there. I'll be doing my meditation there." That's how Parashurama also leaves the place, so that his incarnation is over. The celebration started here. Janaka had brothers and they had daughters. So their daughters got married to Lakshmana, Shatrughna, and Bharata. Lakshmana's wife name is Urmila, and I'll have to refer to the names of the two girls. But for the time being, Sita's name is very important. Urmila will come into picture later on, almost at the end of Ramayana. So just note it down. That's it. So they got married. They came back. Everything was good. Dasratha knew how Vishwamitra enabled Rama and Lakshmana, how they made him, how he made them both very strong. And he was happy that because of Vishwamitra, Rama got married to the best girl. So what else he wants? He was very happy. Do we have time? Do you want to continue? So let's poll.
Yeah. If you guys want to continue, we blocked off the time until 8 p.m., but it's up to you guys to decide if have the energy and the time. I know some of you guys are staying up really late. Someone's here at 3 a.m. in the morning right now, or was at the very beginning. Thank you so much. At the very beginning of the stream. So, it's up to you guys. I totally understand. I just set aside 2 hours as a potential, but if 1.5 is plenty, then 1.5 it is, and that's where we'll stick. Letting you guys know if you let my dad, he can continue the story for hours on end. So it's not about us, it's about you guys. Although, it's almost dinner time, so we probably too long, but
Let's make it 11 more minutes, so that 10 more minutes, that makes it 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
Let's not overwhelm people.
Okay.
Right.
And then if they'll let us know later on if.
Right.
Oh my God, you're still here.
Thank you so much.
Holy crap. Oh my gosh, please take care of yourself.
Thank you so much. Right. Okay. I'm glad you like them, and I'm glad I'm able to do something better. Okay. So now they all came back. They were very, very happy. Let's take next 10 minutes with any questions. If you do not have, I can continue with the story. Okay. So they were all happy. What, as a father, what does Dasratha need next? He wants to retire. Now he knows Rama is the able person there, right? So he wants to retire. For me, once Prakash got married, I said, I'm retiring. I was CEO of this company, the family of Murthy. I was CEO. Now I will promote myself as a chairman. So I would not do anything. A chairman does nothing. CEO does everything, right? I said, Prakash, now you are the CEO of this family. So you take care of this entire thing. Similarly, Dasratha also wanted Rama to be the king. So he was waiting for a good day to happen. In the meantime, Bharata and Shatrughna, they went to their uncle's place. Very important information. Look at how the story moves, how parents behave, how father behaves when he wants something to happen, right? Bharata and Shatrughna went to their uncle's place. I mean, Bharata's uncle's place, Kaikeyi's brother's place. Suddenly, Dasaratha called Vasishta and then said, I want to give throne to Rama. Let's look at tomorrow seems to be the best time, auspicious day. Let's perform. When Prakash was getting married, I said, Prakash, I don't know whether Ankit can come. He is working with Navy, right? We don't know whether he will have permissions to go to India from Navy and all that. Is it okay? Do you want to get married without Ankit being present there? He said, no. I want Ankit. Whenever Ankit can make, then only I'm married. She has a brother, I have a brother. We want both brothers to be present there. If Prakash says that, does Rama not say that? Does Rama say, oh, I will take the throne when Bharata and Shatrughna are away? No. And will Dasratha do it? Dasratha knows that all the four of them are together, and he would say, let Bharata and Shatrughna come back so that we can perform it. No. He said, I don't care whether Bharata and Shatrughna are here or not. I want Rama to take the throne tomorrow. Everyone said, yes, okay, let's do it. The news spread everywhere. Kaikeyi came to know about it. Kaikeyi is the third wife of Dasratha, right? She came to know. She was also happy. She wanted her. Rama was more than Bharata for her. So she said, wow, my Rama is getting throned tomorrow. Always, you may be a very good person, but there are people surrounding you who will not let you be happy. They always put something in between. When Kaikeyi was coming from her parent house, from Kaika, her country, she got her assistant also called Mandhara. She was very elderly person. She was advising Kaikeyi for many of the things. So That Mandara was looking all around and she saw, what is this going on here? Why is this festive mood? She asked someone. They said, oh, tomorrow Rama is going to be thrown. She goes running to Kaikeyi and says, what am I hearing? Your son should be throned. Why Rama is getting it? I don't understand. Then Kaikeyi says, no, no, no. Rama is the eldest one and Rama is the most able one. So he should be enthroned. But Mandara says, no, 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 no. I would not agree. Are you out of your mind or what? When you were getting married, Dasharatha did not have kids from his two wives. And at that time, the condition was that your son will be the next king. Do you remember that? Dasharatha said that. So your son has to be the king, not Rama. Period. Then, in normal Ramayana and all, Kaikeyi says, oh yeah. She falls to her word, she falls to Mandara's words and says, I want Rama to go to forest for 14 years and then exile, and Bharata should be the king. But look behind the scene. Kaikeyi remembered that Dasharatha has given that word, and now he's getting away from that word. What happens? The king, a Dharmatma, person from a perfect lineage, if he is not fulfilling his word, but whatever reasons, that's not good for that lineage altogether. Once you have given a word, you have to be standing on that. Even though Kaikeyi loved Rama more than Bharata, she wanted to keep Dasharatha in that word, that he has to keep his word. But how can she do it? He loves Rama so much. Then Mandara tells Kaikeyi, once Dasharatha was helping Devatas when they were in war with Rakshasas, the bad demons. Dasharatha fought on behalf of Devatas. And when he was fighting, the wheel of his chariot, what do we call the pivot?
Yeah.
Pivot of the wheel came off. So the chariot was not moved, was about to fall. Then Kaikeyi was so strong, she put her finger as the pivot. For as long as Dasharatha was in the war with the demons, once he won that war, then he realized what Kaikeyi has done. Then he said, Kaikeyi, I'm going to give you 2 boons. Whatever you want, I will give you, because today you saved me. You saved Devatas. This is such a heroic thing you have done. Then Kaikeyi said, I have everything. I don't want anything. Then Dasharatha said, no, I insist, you have to take 2 boons. Then she said, okay, when time comes, I will ask. So the learning here is, never ever promise anything that you cannot do or you do not know what the other person is going to ask. Never give a blank check to anyone. Signed blank check. Right? Similarly, never ever say, oh, Prakash, I'll give you anything that you want. Most of the times when we are happy, that's when we should be controlling ourselves. When we are very happy, we do not have control on anything. We say, okay, I'll give you everything. You ask me, I'll give you. And if you are binding yourself to your word, that will push you into any number of misery. So if at all you are promising someone, this is the wording you have to say. I promise to give you whatever is within my boundaries. So there is one escape route there. If it is beyond your capabilities, if it is beyond your boundaries, then you can say, okay. But Dasharatha did not say. He said, whatever you want, I'll give you. Now Kaikeyi remembered those 2. Mandara actually gives her that clue. You remember, you have those two boons from him. Now is the time. Then Kaikeyi said, that's right. To keep Dasharatha truthful, to keep Dasharatha by his words, I will use these two boons. And how can that happen? If Rama is there in the country, in the palace, but Dasharatha, Bharata will not take it because they loved so much. Bharata says, when my brother is there, I'm not going to take it. So she asked two boons of Dasharatha. One, she said, send Rama on exile for 14 years. He has to go into the forest and make Bharata the king of this one. Dasharatha says, no, 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 I can't do that. Rama is my eldest son. He is the most able son. So if I have an able eldest son, he is the only one who should get the throne, who should be the king. But Kaikeyi said, if that is the case, what happens to the word that you have given my parents during my marriage? And what happened to the boons that you have given me? So do you want to get away from that? Do you want to be called liar? And do you want to stay in the history as a liar? Is Rama going to like that? Fine. If Rama knew that Kaikeyi was given that promise at her marriage, would he really take the throne? If he takes the throne, is he truthful? Is he helping his father to stay on the right course? There are so many things in that. People do not know that, so immediately they say Mandara is a bad character, Kaikeyi is a bad character, and because of her, Rama has gone out. No, actually, Kaikeyi is bringing Dasharatha in the right path. Dasharatha was deviating the right path because of the love on Rama. So he said, these are the two boons, give me. Dasharatha could not do anything. He did not want to go as a liar in the history. At the same time, he could not ask Rama to go away. He could not stand leaving Rama for a minute. So he becomes unconscious. That's when Rama was summoned to Kaikeyi's house. Rama, of course, Lakshmana always follows him. Both of them came there, and he sees his father. He says, what happened to him? Then Kaikeyi says, he is not feeling. He is supposed to give you some bad news. He wanted to do something, but he's not able to tell you. Then Rama asked, what was that? Kaikeyi said, well, your dad wants you. He has given me two boons, and he wants you to go to the forest on exile for 14 years, and Bharata be the king. Then Rama says, oh, if that is the wish of my dad, that's it. I'll go there. What is the problem? Now, there is one more thing we have to discuss. Why 14 years? Why did not she say, get out for every time or the entire life? That's because in that time, anyone who loses rights on an asset for 14 years to someone, he loses the rights forever. Current time, because of our lifespan and all, it has come down to 12 years. If, let us suppose, if you give your house to someone's possession for 12 years, and that guy is taking care of that as acting as owner, the property becomes that person. That comes in Mahabharata. But in Ramayana, the rule was, if anyone gives away his right to someone for 14 years straight, rights are permanently given. That's why she said, let Rama go out for 14 years. And Bharata be the king. So Rama said, fine, I'm leaving. Then Kaikeyi said, you should live like rishis. That means You should not live like a king or prince. You should not wear the gold, all of that. You should have just one piece of clothing on you, and that's all you have. He said, yeah, if that is the wish of my dad, I will do it. That's where it is the importance of son respecting the dad. He said, my dad would not do anything wrong. If he asked me to go, I'll go. I'll make sure that I listen to him. I keep up his word. And Lakshmana was very angry. Lakshmana said, all that is done by this culprit, this Kaikeyi. I'm going to kill her. You don't need to go anywhere. I will kill this girl. I will kill Kaikeyi. I will kill Dasharatha also. Who are they? You are the most able person. Immediately Rama looked at him and said, is that what you learned from me? Is there something wrong with me that you are behaving like this? Because I always thought that you idolized me. If you have idealized me, would I do that? So there is something wrong within me that you are behaving like. So every parent also should think, if the kid is not behaving well, generally the kids always look at their parents. Everything that is happening in the house is recorded in their brain. So we have to behave the right way. The way you want your kids to behave, you first behave like that. Then they automatically behave like parents. Similarly, here Rama said, you were always with me, you were idealizing me, and now you want to kill mother and father? Is that what you think I will be doing? Then I'm totally wrong. I failed as an elder brother, guiding you. Immediately, Lakshmana's anger is all calmed down. He says, I'm sorry. Whatever you say is what I will do. So let both of us go. I want to be with you. I will take care of it. Right? So that's where we will stop today, and we'll continue next time.
What will we
Next
be
week.
discussing next? Some summary of.
Yeah, we'll give the summary, and there is a lot to this particular scene to discuss. We'll go further. Okay? Thank you so much again, everyone, for your time. Have a nice day wherever you are.